After surveying 500 UK bettors about their gambling habits and the stigma surrounding betting, we've interviewed a UK's leading gambling addiction therapist, Liz Karter. So far, we've talked about how to stay in control over your betting habits and how to manage your stress and anxiety around it, but also how to spot problem gambling in yourselves as well as in others. Our research shows that 80% of the UK sports bettors would ask a gambling addiction therapist on advice on how to deal with the financial impact of their betting losses or debt. So today, Liz answers the most common question on the topic. Quote, "Even though I've given up gambling, I'm looking at years of paying off debt. It's a constant reminder of the mess I made with gambling. How can I learn to live with that?" End quote.
I understand that can be a really awful situation to be in. And I think it's something that is very particular and unique to gambling. I know many of my clients over the years who said to me, I wish I'd had an addiction to drugs or alcohol, because once I've been through recovery, once I've given up the addiction, my life can move on. But often when people are left thousands in debt, even though mentally and emotionally their life is moving on, they feel that it's a ball and chain around their ankle, and it's a constant reminder of their past gambling. What I think is really, really important is that you're honest about whether or not you feel this debt is realistically manageable for you. Lots of times, people feel so guilty and so ashamed about having had an addiction. I see them carrying around huge burdens of realistically completely unmanageable debt. They're never going to be able to pay it off. But they will say to me, I feel this is my duty. It's my responsibility. I caused the problem. And that responsibility is admirable. But you have to sort of rewind as well and remember that the part of you that caused that problem was the part that wasn't really rational. A part of you that was emotionally unstable because of the consequences of the addiction. So you weren't making rational choices that you would make here and now. So I think a big part of it is looking back in that way, looking at how you were suffering when your addiction came about. That's how that debt came about. Having some compassion, forgiving yourself. And if this is too much of a burden to bear, don't feel ashamed about seeking help and advice. There are good agencies out there who will offer free of charge advice as to how to manage debt, how to seek help, how to get some of it down to manageable levels. Another thing I'd say is slow and steady wins the race. It is true. I've seen often people put themselves under such pressure to pay it off quickly because they just want it all gone. They want to move on with their lives. And I can understand that completely. But I can also understand how sometimes it actually restarts that negative cycle of gambling addiction because somebody ends up overworking, and in some cases, working all the hours they possibly can, paying everything they earn into those credit cards, trying to pay off loans or family and friends too quickly. And they feel deprived themselves, ultimately. They feel really resentful. They're exhausted. They become depressed and stressed again. And worst case scenario, because of that, they relapse. So it can perpetuate that negative cycle of gambling. So it's much better to take that slow, steady pace. And I think it's really important to be able to know exactly, if you can, the date when it's all going to be gone, because it's horrible to feel in a trap of debt. But if you can see realistically that date when it's going to be gone, if I keep paying it off at that steady rate, I will be free of it, then psychologically that can be really encouraging too.
Like Liz said, Don't forget to have compassion for yourself, try to forgive yourself, and don't be afraid to seek professional help if needed. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow when we'll talk about how to open up to your friends and family about your gambling addiction without feeling embarrassed.